most exciting photography trips venture into the unknown. Expeditions searching for new subjects. Finding new perspectives and subjects is a challenge. The popularity of Iceland among landscape photographers has resulted in extensive photography of most places on the beaten path. We have traveled extensively across the country and published the book Photographing Iceland, a photo guide to 100 locations. Of course, you can photograph many more places than the 100 mentioned in the book, but we particularly enjoy traveling to remote areas in search of new scenes. The highlands around Snæfell and the mountain Snæfell have raised our curiosity, Gyda and I. One of our goals on this trip was to photograph the Snæfell mountain. This time we headed into the highlands in the eastern part of Vatnajökull National Park, and our first stop was Möðrudalur, where we met our longtime friends and travel companions, Brynjar and Steinunn. Brynjar Ágústsson is one of the most experienced photography guides in Iceland and one of the few Icelanders who specialize in guiding photographers. Most guides in Iceland are not Icelandic. We've been friends since our teenage years, and today, without diminishing anyone else's talents, Brynjar is undoubtedly one of the country's most skilled artistic photographers. Period. Of course, this is my humble opinion. I recommend checking out his website, brynjarart.com. As you drive from Möðrudalur into the highlands toward Snæfell, you can see far in all directions, and the mountain Herðubreið is visible from many angles, constantly changing its appearance. A sandstorm caused by the Hálslón Reservoir and the Kárahnjúkar Dam gave a specific character to all the photos, not necessarily in a bad way. Sænatasel is an old farmhouse built in 1843. We stopped there briefly. Sænatasel is now a museum that offers insights into old farming practices, and you can also get refreshments there and a guided tour of the traditional ways of life. The highlands in this area are like a desert. Here and there, green patches with small ponds and lakes form interesting abstract patterns when seen from the drone's perspective. The vegetation in this area is fascinating. We sometimes collaborate with biologists and scientists who write articles about Icelandic wildlife and museums that need images of Icelandic nature. This is why we sometimes go out of our way to capture photos of plants and flora. Shortly before reaching the Kárahnjúkar Dam, you come across the Harak Canyon. Before the dam was built, this was one of the most beautiful canyons in the country. The canyon is breathtaking, deep and narrow. It has viewing platforms, and the sandstone became quite prominent the day we were photographing it. The canyon is very close to Hálslón by Kárahnjúkar, where low water levels in the reservoir can contribute to sandstorms. After hiking up and down the canyon, we experimented with taking a shot of the dominant pillar near the canyon. Gyda gives a good sense of scale in her yellow down jacket. There's a decent mountain hut with good facilities near the hiking trails. The light was relatively flat as we approached Snæfell, cloudy like a softbox. It was interesting to try various techniques to photograph Snæfell. Finding a foreground motive with the camera was difficult, but the drones had a better success exploring the mountain and offering usable compositions. Despite the wind, we used both of our drones, the Mavic 3 and the Mini 3 Pro. Sometimes you manage to find new compositions, sometimes not, and this trip demonstrated what we've often encountered. You need to return to some places again and again to get different conditions and lighting, and not least to learn the location and do what photographers call work the scene. After a stop in Laugarfell, where there are a few quite photogenic waterfalls, we continued eastward. After this trip, we headed east to an amazing place that surprised us. More on that in the next video. Thank you for watching.